least got some time during this week, beside all the other stuff when people poking me around. I heard that ActiveDoc is dead, so I decided for myself, find something that is maybe useful and not developed in-house, so I can make sure that it works even in a few years. In the end, I finally found some project that is, from my perspective, very useful. And I started using it to collect some stuff that I had written somewhere over the years about a small tool that's called Squid. But to go back, I wanted to introduce you to that tool which is called GitBook. So I will show you a short overview about what GitBook is, give you a short introduction into the editor, compare GitHub and GitBook, and maybe we can find some interims between them, and then give a short demo. So GitBook is mainly Heroku for books. So let's make a short query. Who is familiar with Git and GitHub? Okay, so all of them are potential users for GitBook now. You can write books in Markdown. Whenever you have a project on GitHub and you know that readme.md file that is used per default on your GitHub repository to get some interesting or more or less interesting documentation information for your users, that can become a PDF, a EPUB or a Mobi book for your users directly without anything that you have to do additionally. GitBook uses GitHub to store those files and generate all the crazy stuff that your users normally want to have. It supports table of contents, it supports inline URLs, you can write glossaries, you can even create an FAQ out of it. So from my point of view, very powerful. You can customize your book via CSS, JavaScript, whatever you like. There is a GitBook editor for online and offline editing, so you can open your browser whenever you're online and write on your book. Or if you're traveling, you can download your Git repository and then work on that directly, and afterwards when you're finished or online again, you know, git commit, git push, and you're done. You can import even Microsoft Word documents. You can import a docbook and HTML. Funnily, I didn't find a place where they allow us to import LibreOffice documents, so that's up to somebody to find out. It's free to use. It's open source. The only difference is if you say, okay, that book what I published is just visible for a few friends of mine, then you have to pay. If you say that book is public for everybody, free to use. And there is a GitHub and GitBook interconnect, which is very nice from my point of view. So the GitBook editor is very easy. If you know LibreOffice, if you know Word, you probably know also those little icons above where you can say, okay, that is now in bold, or it's a headline or whatever. You can see the content, and that's really simple Markdown. You don't have to learn something new. You can use whatever you have learned already. And there is also an offline editor, as I mentioned. I just say npm install because I didn't find some RPMs for it, and to be honest, I didn't find the time to create one on my own. Next point, GitHub and GitHub. Yes, it's directly interconnected. So on one point, when you start writing a book and later on you decide, maybe it's a time to publish it on GitHub, it's one button away. Only thing you have to do is first create a GitHub account. And then you can export your book to GitHub as a normal repository. On the other side, if you say, I will write my books on GitHub, you can even add or include a webhook in GitHub that pushes all your changes directly to GitBook. So whenever you do a commit, your book will be updated automatically. And I guess this is something more or less everyone knows. That's GitHub. And as you can see, you just have a couple of MD files, which are more or less like the chapters of your book. And then you're done. So let's have a look. As you can see, that's how it looks in the beginning. When you write something, and this is when people search for your book, they can read online. So they will be presented with simple HTML pages, chapters and so on. They have a glossary directly to read everything online. And as you can see here, there is PDF, EPUB, MOBI or whatever. Just click on it, wait a second, open it, and then you will see my glorious cover probably, if it comes up. Let's see. Sometimes it just takes ages. Oh, okay. Then you have a whole book, and you see my beautiful cover. Table of content can be auto-generated, and then what it does simply puts everything what is there and what you configured on, and you're done. And you can give your users a very useful documentation at hand without the need to leave your normal paths. That means you can still write and use GitHub. You can use Markdown, and everything is fine. And the good thing is, there's one central source, GitBook, where you can store your books and where your users can search for your books and find them. Okay, questions? So everybody's happy, starting to enhance this documentation right now? Okay, still alive. Thank you.